The Loudun Possessions, 1632 to 1634, France. In the early 1630s, the town of Loudun, France, became a focal point of religious, social, and political tension due to one of history's most notorious mass possession cases. The Ursuline convent's nuns, led by prioress Jean Daing, began to exhibit extreme symptoms, violent contortions, guttural cries, and disturbing accusations of lewd acts performed by invisible entities. They claimed Urbain Grandier, the parish priest, had bewitched them through a pact with the devil. Grandier, ambitious and outspoken, had many enemies in civic and clerical circles. As accusations spread, public exorcisms drew crowds, with nuns thrashing and shrieking, naming demons and condemning Grandier. Extensive court documents, pamphlets, and eyewitness accounts survive, providing an unusually detailed historical record. Cardinal Richelieu, who saw Grandier as a political adversary, allegedly encouraged the prosecution. The evidence included a forged pact with Satan signed in blood. Despite protests, Grandier was tortured, convicted of witchcraft, and burned alive in 1634. Historians view Loudun as a convergence of mass hysteria, religious fervor, and political intrigue. The case demonstrates how possession narratives could serve as instruments of control, reflecting broader tensions in early modern France. Whether interpreted as psychological phenomena, manipulation, or genuine spiritual affliction, the surviving records make this one of the most compelling and well-documented episodes of demonic possession. The Blumhardt Case, 1842 to 1843, Germany. In Tittlingen-Württemberg, Germany, a young woman named Gottlieben Dittus experienced extreme manifestations of possession. She reportedly spoke in languages unknown to her, convulsed violently, and demonstrated prodigious physical strength. Local clergy feared the situation exceeded human comprehension and called upon Pastor Johann Christoph Blumhardt, a renowned Protestant minister, to intervene. Blumhardt conducted repeated exorcisms over several weeks, eventually declaring that the woman had been freed through divine intervention. Blumhardt meticulously documented the episodes in his diaries and published accounts. These records describe symptoms, the religious context, and the psychological toll on both the afflicted and those assisting in the exorcism. Skeptics suggest that trauma, mental illness, or suggestibility explains Gottlieben's behavior, yet multiple contemporary witnesses confirmed the severity of the events. This case influenced 19th-century Protestant approaches to spiritual healing, illustrating the complex interplay between faith and perceived supernatural activity. The surviving documentation allows historians to analyze the social, religious, and psychological dimensions of the case. Blumhardt's interventions demonstrate the Protestant engagement with possession narratives, emphasizing prayer, faith, and communal witnessing as instruments of spiritual authority. Anne Ackland, Emma Schmidt, The Erling Exorcism, 1928, USA. In Erling, Iowa, a woman pseudonymed Anna Ackland endured one of the most dramatic exorcisms of the 20th century. Following years of mysterious disturbances, levitation, violent convulsions, and speaking in unknown tongues, Catholic priests performed prolonged rites. Father Theophilus Riesinger led the sessions, assisted by nuns who recorded the events in diaries. Newspapers and later pamphlets, including Begone, Satan, documented the case for the broader public. Eyewitness accounts describe objects flying across rooms, guttural voices, and inhuman strength, leaving investigators both frightened and awed. Skeptics attribute the behavior to psychological disorders or hysteria, yet contemporary reporting confirms the consistency of the accounts. The case became a touchstone in American religious culture, bridging traditional Catholic ritual with early 20th century fascination with the paranormal. Historians and psychologists alike note the importance of Anna Ackland's case in illustrating the tension between faith, mental health, and media influence. It serves as a precedent for understanding modern exorcisms, emphasizing the human need to frame extreme behavior in moral and spiritual terms.
Clara Germana Seal 1906, South Africa. In Natal, South Africa, 16-year-old Clara Germana Seal shocked her school and missionaries with extraordinary episodes of alleged possession. Witnesses claimed she exhibited unnatural strength, levitation, speaking unknown languages, and violent reactions to religious symbols. Missionary diaries recorded these events, detailing her attacks on students and the community's fear. Clara's case is remarkable for being one of the most thoroughly documented non-European possessions. Multiple independent eyewitnesses described similar phenomena, lending historical credibility. Clergy attempted prayers and rites to exorcise her, observing temporary relief. The case also illustrates the intersection of colonial and Christian frameworks, as missionaries interpreted Clara's behavior in spiritual terms rather than psychological or cultural ones. This possession story influenced missionary literature, demonstrating how faith communities responded to perceived supernatural threats. Historians see it as evidence of the global reach of possession narratives and the ways cultural context shapes interpretations of unusual behavior.
Roland Doe, Robbie Mannheim 1949, USA. In 1949, a young boy known as Roland Doe, later identified as Robbie Mannheim, experienced phenomena that would become one of the most famous exorcisms in modern history. Following a Ouija board session, the boy reportedly faced levitation, poltergeist activity, and ominous marks on his body. Priests documented the events with daily diaries, noting violent reactions to religious symbols and episodes of disturbing speech. These notes later inspired Thomas B. Allen's book Possessed and the novel and film The Exorcist. Contemporary journalists interviewed clergy and neighbors, recording consistent accounts. Skeptics have proposed psychological explanations, yet the surviving records provide an unusually detailed chronicle of a modern exorcism. The case remains influential in both popular and academic discourse, highlighting how cultural narratives, religious rituals, and psychological phenomena can intersect. It serves as a key example of mid-20th century American engagement with demonic possession, bridging folklore, faith, and mass media.
Anneliese Michel 1975–1976, Germany. Anneliese Michel, a devout young woman in Bavaria, Germany, suffered from epilepsy and depression, which her family and priests believed were signs of possession. Over 10 months, priests performed 67 exorcism sessions, during which Anneliese reportedly displayed violent convulsions, aversion to sacred objects, and multiple voices. Her condition deteriorated, culminating in death by malnutrition in 1976. The subsequent trial produced extensive documentation, medical records, autopsy findings, priestly diaries, and court transcripts. The case became a pivotal study of the intersection between medicine, law, and religion. The court convicted Anneliese's parents and the priests of negligent homicide, raising ethical questions about faith-based interventions in medical crises. Historians view this as a defining modern exorcism case. The detailed records allow researchers to examine psychological, spiritual, and legal dimensions of possession, illustrating the dangers of conflating religious belief with untreated medical conditions. The case has inspired numerous books and films, reflecting enduring cultural fascination with demonic possession.
Michael Taylor 1974, England. Michael Taylor, a man from Ossett, West Yorkshire, experienced alleged possession after joining a Christian prayer group. Ministers attempted an all-night exorcism, claiming he had dozens of demons within him. Shortly afterward, Taylor committed a violent act, killing his wife in a frenzy. Police records and court transcripts document the events, as well as psychiatric evaluations during his trial. Taylor was found legally insane, and historians note how this case demonstrates the risks of faith-based interventions without medical oversight. It highlights the collision of religious belief, mental illness, and criminal law. The extensive documentation, including contemporary media coverage, makes this case a valuable historical record of possession-related hysteria intersecting with modern jurisprudence.
Arnchyan Johnson, The Devil Made Me Do It, 1981, USA. In 1981, Connecticut resident Arne Cheyenne Johnson murdered his landlord, Alan Bono, claiming demonic possession as the cause. The defense was unprecedented in American legal history. The case stemmed from earlier alleged possession of a family member investigated by Ed and Lauren Warren. Court transcripts, police reports, and media coverage confirmed the defense's unusual claims, though the judge rejected them. The trial sparked public fascination and became a landmark study of law, belief, and responsibility. Historians view it as a case where spiritual claims intersected directly with criminal accountability, raising questions about how legal systems handle alleged supernatural influence. The case's notoriety endures, showing the tension between faith and law in contemporary society.
The Smurl haunting 1970s-1980s. USA. The Smurl family of West Pittston, Pennsylvania, claimed a violent demonic presence haunted their home for over a decade. They reported levitation, physical attacks, foul odors, and apparitions. Ed and Lorraine Warren investigated extensively, recording tapes and notes. While local newspapers documented the events, books and dramatizations further amplified the story. Skeptics have questioned aspects of the Smurl's narrative, but the volume of media attention and first-hand accounts renders it historically significant. It illustrates how alleged possession can shape cultural imagination in mass media. For historians, the case provides insight into late 20th century American society, where spiritual fear, popular culture, and